أهلا وسهلا، أنا اسمي ميغيل ميرينو من الولايات المتحدة، درامر مؤلف، والنهاردة هتكلم عن آلتي الأساسية الطبول the drums، وأفضل إني أتكلم بالإنجليزي عشان أعرف أوصف وأعبر براحتي. The brushes are one of the essential tools of any drummer, and to a great extent they are kind of disappearing. But they're one of the essential sounds for a drummer because they can create an entire palette of sounds and colors, especially playing with singers. Let's talk a little bit about playing a ballad with the brushes. In a ballad, there's a lot of space. It's a slow tune, there's a lot of space. One of the main approaches to playing the brushes is just trying to create kind of a pad of sound. A lot of sound. You know, the idea is to try and get as even a sound as possible, because sometimes the brush is going horizontal and sometimes it's going vertical. That's your thick sound, and as you come back this way, it's going to become less. So the two hands kind of work together to fill up the space of the other. And of course, as you put more of the brush on the head, you get more sound. If you're using just the tip of the brushes, it's a very light sound. The more of the brush you lay down on the drum, you're going to get a thicker sound. Okay? And you use all this to make your different colors with the brushes. In a ballad, as the tempo is slow, it's really important to mark the time with the brushes. And this is true in any tempo, but especially in a ballad, you're going to have to be very clear about the tempo. The biggest mistake that drummers make when playing the brushes, especially in these slow tempos, is not marking the time clearly. They just kind of let the brush glide over the head and just make kind of a wash without really defining it. But what I like to do is start with at least the quarter notes. If I don't, at the top of the drum, making a little accent. And that instantly creates the time. I do that with both hands. And there I've got the pulse. Try to create longer notes than are possible with just the sticks. How do I do that? By extending as long as I can the flat part of the brush. Trying to get as much out of it as I can before I have to come back this way and I lose a little bit of sound. In those slow tempos, I like to kind of pull it from the 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And so on. Okay? So what does that do? That creates motion. Okay, so the beat doesn't kind of go to sleep. It's slow, but it still has to maintain a motion. Okay, just because it's slow, you can't go to sleep. And that's why playing ballads so difficult. Okay, to interpret a ballad takes great degree of sensitivity. You know, these are usually love songs. It has to be sensitive. It has to have, you know, expression. And to do that, you can't just let it be this like empty wash, which is what you see a lot of guys do. Even if they're going 1, 2, even if they're stepping on the hi-hat on 2 and 4, there's no time here, okay? So the time's got to come from the brushes, and the hi-hat or maybe some accents on the cymbals like I was doing in the tune will help move that along, okay? But the essence of it is going 1, okay? And then all the little tricks. Everybody has got a million little different tricks with the brushes, but there are some things that are kind of typical technique. The little accent. Small little pulls like that really come out, okay? Also, how open or closed, okay? If they're all the way open, you're gonna get the most sound. Okay? There's almost not enough room on the drum for both brushes when they're open. And I've seen guys play that way, and I've also seen other guys play, you know, like this, which has a whole lot less sound. I think I would typically have the brushes somewhere in here, you know, kind of a medium open. So they can still kind of be under control, and if you want to kind of pop it, you can still do that. There's more kind of action when you're playing a more medium tempo swing, okay? There's kind of more stuff to do, and you'll be doing more comping, like you would be playing with the sticks. Same thing, but first thing I'm doing is marking the time, marking the pulse. Boom, 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 boom. A lot of trouble some guys get into here is even if they're playing kind of with the right hand, the left hand or the other hand will just be just kind of swirling without a pulse too. But this needs to have a pulse. So you see long tones, short tones, you can create all that stuff with the brushes. And that's why, you know, it was so important for, especially in the old days, guys to use this because they would play with singers often. And it's just a whole another level of expression with the brushes, you know, because you can really play these long and short tones. I mean, one of the models of great brush playing, Philly Joe Jones, in all Miles Davis's recordings, not all of them, but you know that band with Philly Joe Jones and a million other recordings from the older generation. Currently, Jeff Hamilton, one of the best brush players. I love their two styles. And when, especially Jeff Hamilton, you can see, I mean, just has all these, and they're not tricks like some, there's a lot of kind of showy stuff you can do and stuff like that. And there are tricks to do with the brushes that could make effects, but when those actually get used musically, that's really wonderful. And not even this stuff. The different patterns and kind of sweeping and swooshing to get all these different sounds, okay? That's what they do so incredibly well. So check out Jeff Hamilton currently and Philly Joe Jones from the 50s and 60s. He's in those recordings from the 50s and 60s. That's a very kind of brief overview of playing the brushes. I always enjoy playing brushes. It's a totally different kind of mindset than playing sticks. So listen to those old recordings, try the brush in different settings, just figure out all the different kind of sounds and colors that you can make with it.